Hi everyone. So here's chapter 2 of my novel Dawn of the Darkness. And this time I'm going to um, screen share the text because many of you have told me that you like to read along as well as me reading it to you. And I've also included a text version of chapter 1 for those of you who want to go back and look at that. So I'll just share now. And here we go. Chapter 2. The funeral was sad and beautiful. Elwyn and Ellen, now in their early 20s, stood either side of their grandmother as she cried and smiled over the open grave. Ellen thought she looked more beautiful than it was possible to look at her age. "Are you okay, Grandma?" he asked. "Angus is gone and I miss him so. Yet I feel him so close to me," she said. "It's hard to explain. I see, taste and hear him in everything. He is within me and around me, patiently supporting me. All I need do is to take one step to be with him. I know I have more to do before it is right for me to take that step. His love has given me space and time to fulfill my life. You two have great challenges to face now. I'm here to guide you in my way as Angus guided you with his words. Now I have the time to do my thing." "But you loved Grandpa, didn't you?" Elwyn's voice sounded concerned. "Yes, I did. I still do, and always will," Urania replied. Then, looking into Elwyn's brilliant eyes, she said, "Love needs to breathe. We all need time together and time apart. If love is to grow into its full potential. Angus and I are taking a small break. Our love is moving to a new level, and neither of us would deny the other more love." "Uh-huh," Elwyn sighed. "I'll sit with that for a while, Grandma." "Do that, darling. The world is changing before your eyes. The stories your grandpa shared will become more than stories. You will live them. The wisdom he shared will be vital for you to know." Arthur, Merlin, Guinevere and the others developed a pilot program like a new TV series. They wanted to see if their pilot, what we call Camelot, would work. It did work beyond their wildest dreams at that time. Yet they fell short. They were way ahead of their times, and like a new movie script, since then many writers have reworked the story. However, making it popular, they lost the plot literally. In making it popular, they lost the plot literally. Grandpa's stories were true to the legend, free of revisions. They came from his heart and his memories of those times. They came from the legend itself. A legend of that stature cannot be held to facts alone. It walks between the worlds, between and beyond time and space it roams, appearing here and there in history, until people are ready to embrace its power and live it in their daily lives. Now is that time, my beautiful grandchildren. You are among the few so far who have seen the pilot program as it truly happened. It's up to you to write the series as the lives you choose to live." "Wow, Grandma," Ellen gasped. "I see where Grandpa found his passion. But how do we do all that? It's overwhelming." "You can relax, Ellen. You don't have to chase it or make it happen. That's not the way of the future. Life will bring you the opportunities. Your job is to decide which ones are right for you. You are young, and there is a lot to learn. But Merlin and Arthur were teenagers when they became magician and king, Ellen stated. Different times, different people, different timing, Urania replied. Your world is far more complex, so life adjusts the timing. We will talk of this again. Realise your grandpa's passing is the start of something new for all of us. You both need to be ready for the new adventure life will bring you. Stillness descended as they stood by the grave that warm afternoon. The gentle wind played with their hair, their minds and hearts filled with the memories of their times with Angus, the man, husband, lover, friend, mentor, and genuine storyteller. A legend in his own mind, Urania thought, bringing a smile to her lips. She could feel him laughing with her. Then they walked away, leaving the gravediggers to return Angus's body to the earth. As they approached the funeral car that would take them home, Ellen noticed a powerfully built man in a black coat and formal suit move towards the car. One of the funeral directors, Ellen thought, as the man was overdressed for such a warm afternoon. Then Ellen's gut sent a warning. Something was not right. He looked at Elwyn and caught her eye. Nodding his head towards the man, he invited her to check him out. What happened next always entertained Ellen. He watched as Elwyn's energy extended out from her towards the man and gently entered his energy field. The result was instantaneous. Elwyn physically recoiled, stopping Urania from taking another step. The strange man stopped dead in his tracks. The silent clash of two worlds, thought Ellen to himself, remembering the stories of Angus. All their assumptions disappeared. The four of them waited to see what would unfold next. Ellen felt his energy and body expand and sensed Urania draw from an invisible force that she wrapped around the three of them. She radiated a peace that made anything seem possible. Elwyn, looking shocked and now on the alert, waited. In that instant, Ellen glimpsed the deep connection across generations between his sister and his grandmother. But his concern for their safety pulled him back to the present. The man in the black coat was obviously not an undertaker burying another client. His response spoke of something more personal and sinister. He seemed ready to attack. Are you looking for us? Ellen said, stepping forward and across in front of the women. Urania Michaels, the man said, looking past Ellen to the older lady. You have not lost your beauty or your presence. True beauty only increases, Adrian, she replied. You know him? Elwyn whispered. Yes, be still and watch, Urania warned. Ellen, do not respond to whatever he has to say for now. It's a pity Angus is no longer here with us, Adrian continued. A pity for you and a blessing for others. Ellen felt the spite in the words and the sense of threat beneath them. His body and emotions were ready to react, but Urania's words and a little wisdom held him in check. What do you want, Adrian? Urania replied. This is no time or place for vengeance. It's the perfect place from my perspective, Mother, said Adrian. Ellen's jaw dropped and his eyes narrowed. Elwyn caught her breath. Adrian continued. I approached the courts immediately on Angus's passing to clarify the matter of who now handles the financial affairs of the children's parents. When their father was so unfortunately killed, and I took their mother into my care, she gave me legal authority to manage her considerable holdings. I was forced by a previous arrangement with Angus to allow him to be the guardian of the children. Now he is gone. I am their legal guardian. Hold on, said Alan, interrupting Adrian. Are you saying our mother is still alive? Alive? And under my care, Adrian replied with a smile that totally lacked caring. Elwyn and Alan felt shocked and confused. Their world was changing with the passing of their mentor. Now it felt like they were descending into chaos. When the Romans abandoned Britain to her own devices, thought Alan, grasping into the legend for stability. Is this how it felt? Elwyn felt awful. She was angry and lost, not knowing what to do. It was like being pushed down by a series of large waves. She struggled for breath, and an intense feeling of wanting to give up swept over her. It was the presence of Urania that allowed her and Alan to make it back to the surface. As the fresh air of her awareness filled their bodies, hearts and minds, clarity briefly replaced the confusion. Alan saw the need to control, driven by greed, in every muscle and movement of Adrian's body. His eyes glowed with the fires of frustrated passion. Elwyn realised that what she was feeling was not hers. The emotions were being fed to her by Adrian's lust. This man was a sick puppy who had become a mean and dangerous dog. He was marking out his territory at their expense. I've come to claim what's mine, Urania. I'm no longer bound by my agreement with Angus, Adrian demanded. Again, waves of confusion broke over them. What agreement are you talking about? Alan went to say, stepping forward. Careful, whispered Urania. Do not leave my protection until I diffuse his fury. Alan rocked back. Well, Adrian, Urania said casually, seems like it's time for me to hand them over into your care. Adrian was a powerfully built man, could easily take a physical blow. As the dark being he was in his heart, he could handle any assault like a vampire in a TV series. But Urania's comment surprised and deflated him. He stopped dead, unsure of what he had heard and what it meant. Looking carefully at Urania, surrounded by the astonished young adults, he said, You're giving them to me? Not giving them to you, Adrian, handing them over to your care. But we are adults, declared Alan forcefully, finally letting go to his anger. Yes, you are, said Urania, but your finances, legacy, and mother are under Adrian's guardianship until you each turn 25, or he passes away, of course. Is that a threat? Snapped Adrian, feeling back on familiar ground. Not at all, my dear son. I'm just stating the facts. With you appearing to be in unusual health, I don't think you have any concerns there. Okay, you two, come with me, Adrian commanded. Then Elwyn spoke softly and with clear purpose. We are adults, Uncle Adrian, as Alan said, not children. Our resources are under your guardianship, as is our mother. I assume you wish us to live with you and her rather than Grandma. But first we will meet you at your office to make sure everything is as you say, and in order. Then we want to meet with our mother. Call it proof of life if you wish. Urania could hardly stop her grin at Elwyn's composure, while Alan fixed his eyes on Adrian as his ears absorbed his sister's words. Elwyn continued, "Then we shall come and stay with you, assuming the accommodation arrangements are suitable." Adrian's eyes flared, and then he smiled as a calculated thought passed quietly through his mind. "As you wish, young lady," he replied. He reached into his coat pocket and pulled out a card. Taking a few deliberate steps forward, he reached out towards Ellen with the card. "Here is my address," he said. "Be at my home at 4 p.m. tomorrow, no earlier, as I am a late riser, but no later, or I will assume my mother has held me and the law in contempt." When Ellen reached beyond Urania's protection to accept the card, the numbing fear you feel around a very dangerous yet charming gangster swept over him. As Ellen took the card, Adrian turned abruptly and walked away. It felt like the sun came out from behind a dark cloud, but there were no clouds in the sky. Before Elwyn and Ellen could give voice to all the questions rushing to their mouths, Urania said with complete authority, "We need to talk, but not right now, when we get home." With that, she guided them into the waiting car. End of chapter 2. Hope you enjoy that. Talk to you again soon.